So as we wrap up 2024, I think it's important for all of us to look back and reflect on what's happened in the credit card world over the past year. There's been a lot of changes, and some notable ones are the changes to the Amex Gold card, the update of the Citi Strata Premier card, and the refresh of the Capital One Savor card lineup. And just like credit cards, our preferences also changed too, so we can look at these updates to see whether they matter to us or even if they taught us something about ourselves that we didn't even recognize before. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 3 lessons I learned about credit cards in 2024 that's going to help shape my credit card setup and portfolio as I head into 2025. And the first lesson that I learned was that hotel credit cards are more powerful than I realized. Of course, you want to have a good core credit card setup for spending, but after you've got one, what's next? Well, I would recommend hotel credit cards, and let me explain why. We all have our own preferences when it comes to hotel programs. A lot of you prefer Hyatt because of the value you get from transferring Chase UR points and Bilt points to that program. Many of you prefer Hilton because of their uncapped free night awards, easy point earning structure, and the generous food and beverage credit if you have Hilton Gold status or higher. And some of you are like me and prefer Marriott because of their expansive global footprint and their unique portfolio that makes it easy to stay in a great location no matter where your travels take you. Of course, I can't cover all the different hotel programs, and all programs have their pros and cons. But the main point is that no matter what hotel program you choose, hotel credit cards can really improve your experience. And I've had a lot of hotel stays this year, and so here are the hotels and associated programs that I've stayed at over the course of 2024. You can see from this slide here that I stayed with the 4 major hotel programs as well as the M Resort in Las Vegas. I've stayed at Marriott's for a total of 22 nights, Hilton's for a total of 11 nights, a Hyatt Regency for 3 nights, and IHG properties for a total of 14 nights. And when I was reviewing this chart, I actually didn't realize how many hotels I've stayed at this past year with more than 50 nights across all brands, so maybe I need to tone it down just a little bit next year. Or not, we'll see. And not only do I stay at luxury properties, but there are also some economy and mid-tier properties mixed in there as well. So the reason why I bring this up is that my 3 top hotel programs, which are Marriott, IHG, and Hilton, are the programs where I'm actively using hotel credit cards to improve my value and experience when staying there. When it comes to Marriott, I've had the Amex Bonvoy Brilliant, Chase Ritz-Carlton, and Amex Bonvoy business cards for more than a year now, and these cards generate 2 85K free night awards, as well as 1 35K free night award every single year. Not only do these cards generate free night awards, but the Bonvoy Brilliant gets me automatic Platinum Elite status, the Ritz-Carlton gets me a very powerful Party Pass membership, and the combination of the Bonvoy Brilliant and Bonvoy Business gets me within reach of Titanium Elite status because of the combined 40 Elite Night credits you get with these cards each year. Now, I admit, the cost of these cards is pretty high at $1,225, but as I stay at a lot of hotels, this upfront cost is definitely worth it for me, especially when factoring in those 3 free night awards. And when it comes to my second most popular program, which is IHG, I can say the same thing. This is my first year taking IHG seriously, and I have to say, I'm very impressed. I've been able to stay at multiple Kimpton and Intercontinental properties, both here in the US as well as in Asia, and I have nothing but good things to say about these trips. So the card I'm using is the IHG Premier Business Card, which comes with a 40K free night award each card member anniversary, so I'll be looking forward to that next year. But also having Platinum Elite status with IHG has been awesome, especially having the opportunity for complimentary room upgrades as well as early check-in. I also decided to upgrade to be an Intercontinental Ambassador, so that's also really enhanced my stays at Intercontinentals, specifically for that guaranteed 1 category room upgrade and complimentary weekend night award. I've also stayed at my fair share of Hilton properties, and even though I don't have a premium Hilton hotel credit card, I did start up on my Hilton credit card ladder with the no annual fee Hilton Honors card and got 2 amazing welcome offers along with my wife that included free night awards as a part of those offers. And Hilton has, by far, the best free night certificates of them all. This is because, aside from an exclusion list, these certificates are uncapped, meaning that you can use them at pretty much any property and they can be valued as high as you want them to be. I also have the Amex Platinum card for now, which gets me Hilton Gold status, and we talk about this all the time, but that daily food and beverage credit for 2 is not to be underestimated. I'm hoping in the coming year that I'll be able to add the Hilton Surpass card to my collection, followed by the Hilton Aspire card, and finally be able to experience Hilton Diamond status and all the perks and benefits that come with that status. And so if you're in this position where you're looking to apply for your next credit card and you've already covered your core setup, I highly recommend hotel credit cards for that next pickup. And that brings me to the second lesson that I learned, which is understanding that credit card simplicity should be the end goal. And I know what you're thinking. Stan, you have more than 15 credit cards in your portfolio. That doesn't sound simple to me. And you'd be right. My setup is not typically what you'd think of as a simple credit card setup. But what I mean by this is that you want a credit card setup that's simple for you. As a personal example, 3 cards that I canceled this year were the American Express Gold Card, the American Express Business Gold Card, and the American Express Business Platinum Card. Now, aside from saving $1,390 in annual fees, which is no small amount, I also save on the time it had been taking me to figure out how to use all those annoying statement credits. And since I also have the American Express Bonvoy Brilliant Card with its monthly $25 dining credit, these statement credits were really starting to become unmanageable and just took a toll on my personal sanity. At the beginning of every single month, I had to use a $10 dining credit on the Gold Card, a $20 office supply store credit on the Business Gold Card, and that $25 dining credit on the Amex Bonvoy Brilliant Card. I also had to use a $10 Uber credit every single month, which I could combine with my monthly $15 Uber credit on the Amex Platinum, but that card also added a whole other host of statement credits on top of the other ones I just mentioned as well. So just with these statement credits alone, that was 4 monthly credits that I had to actively use, or 48 new tasks I had to deal with over the course of a year. And to those of you who say that you don't have to use all these credits, well, that's true, you don't. But at that point, I'd really question if these cards with statement credits are really that necessary, or would you be better off with a no annual fee card, or at the very least, a mid-tier card that has less or easier to use statement credits. Now, from my experience, I highly recommend canceling these high annual fee cards with multiple statement credits if it's starting to bother you. When I canceled my Gold and Business Gold cards, there was this huge weight that was just lifted off my shoulders as I no longer had to deal with these annoying monthly statement credits. And it's crazy to me to think that after the Amex Gold refresh, they added even more statement credits to the card, including that new monthly $7 Dunkin' credit. So that really confirmed, at least to me, that I made the right choice. If I'm paying $325 for a card, that card better make my life easier, not harder. Now, this concept of simplicity extends not only to cards that I've canceled, but also to cards that I've kept. I transitioned my core credit card setup about a year ago to 4 main cards, and those cards are the US Bank Altitude Reserve, the Bilt MasterCard, the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards Card, and the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite Credit Card. When it comes to everyday spending, the Altitude Reserve covers mobile wallet purchases, the Bilt MasterCard covers sit-down restaurants, the Customized Cash Rewards Card covers online shopping, and the Premium Rewards Elite Credit Card covers everything else. And while there were a handful of new cards that I got in 2024 and had to swap them into the lineup to meet the welcome offers, for the most part, this main setup has been consistent this entire year. Now, that's all about to change with the no annual fee US Bank Smartly credit card, as I intend to get this card soon and add it to my setup for that juicy, uncapped 4% cashback on everything. So continually improving your core credit card setup is always important. But the point is that even though there are a ton of options nowadays when it comes to credit cards, eventually complexity will find you. And that's when you'll know that it's time to cut down on cards that either cost too much money, waste too much of your time, or both, and start adding cards that make more sense for your own individual situation. In the credit card world, I strongly believe that there's always going to be a balance between simplicity and complexity. Of course, a 15 card no annual fee 5% cashback setup is going to get you the best overall value if we take transfer partners out of the picture. But is it worth managing 15 cards to do that? To some, that answer may be yes. But for others, the answer is probably going to be no. And everyone's going to be a little bit different. But I'd bet that a lot of people out there, including myself, really yearn for simplicity. So for me, this concept of simplicity has been top of mind this year and will continue to be so through 2025. And so that brings me to the third lesson that I learned this year, which is that yes, airport lounge access is nice, but only when you're able to get in. This has been a recurring problem with airport lounges, and every credit card issuer is having to deal with airport lounge crowding. We all talk about how amazing airport lounges are, and how the free food and a quiet place to relax before your flight is super valuable as a credit card benefit. But the issue is that if everyone can get into the lounge, It's not quiet anymore. I would even go as far to say that if Uncle Luke wanted to avoid Adam's kids in the lounge, he may be in for a rude awakening, as they'll be standing right next to him in line when he tries to get in. It's very common to see Centurion lounges, Sapphire lounges, and Capital One lounges all have a waiting list to get in. And this problem even extends to Delta Sky Clubs, Priority Pass lounges, and other lounge networks as well. And I've seen this firsthand as someone who has flown a lot over the past year. When it comes to domestic travel, since January of this year, I've completed around 60 flight segments across 13 airports, flying with 4 airlines. And you can see that out of the 4 airlines, I clearly fly Southwest way more than the others. And just for fun, here's the breakdown of how I typically fly domestically, with the large majority of these seats being in economy. And yes, I do favor the window seat if possible. And if you're curious about why I have so many flights in the middle seat, well, when I fly with my wife, I usually give her the window seat and I take the middle seat. So no, I don't like the middle seat like everyone else, but if I get to sit next to my wife, it makes that experience a lot better. But in any case, I bring this up to show you that I've been in multiple airports across the country, and lounge overcrowding is certainly a real thing. I land at an airport and I'm ready to go into an airport lounge, only to find that there's a long queue or a waiting list, and to be frank, it really just adds stress as opposed to making things more relaxing. I made a recent video explaining why I may cancel my Amex Platinum card in 2025. And in that video, I explained an experience I had in the Las Vegas airport and how my wife and I decided to just skip the Centurion lounge altogether due to the line and just get food from the restaurant in the terminal. And while there was a wait for the lounge, there was no wait at the restaurant, which was nice and overall made for a much better experience while waiting for a connecting flight. So if I'm paying for the $695 annual fee for the Amex Platinum card, but I can't get into the lounge when I want to, can that benefit really count towards the value on that card anymore? Of course, airport lounges aren't always full, and it's going to depend on what day you travel as well as the specific airport in question. But I would say that in general, it's highly likely that the lounge you want to go to is not going to be as empty as you think it will. And so that's why I've been pivoting my strategy to have some lounge access, but to really think about which card would make sense for me, given that a lot of these cards also come with very high annual fees. Personally, I've realized that the Chase Ritz-Carlton card is going to be my primary airport lounge card, since it covers Priority Pass lounges as well as almost all Sapphire lounges. For a $450 annual fee, I get the lounge access in the locations that I travel to the most, as well as that $85K free on award with Marriott, which makes this card very much worth it. And this card may work for you as well, or maybe other cards with lounge access like the Capital One Venture X or the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite credit card would be a better fit. It's also important to mention that if you commonly book business or first class flights, especially internationally, lounge access is usually also provided, which is great, but then this benefit on your premium travel credit card is not really being used. In any case, moving into 2025, I would say that lounge access is becoming less important as a credit card benefit due to overcrowding, and we have to make sure that we don't oversell ourselves on lounge access when thinking about credit cards, at least until the situation is resolved. So those are the 3 credit card lessons I learned in 2024. There have been so many exciting changes this year in the credit card world, and this is great for us as consumers because more competition leads to more innovation, and we all get to benefit from the increased choices that we have. And I recently also talked about what I think are the top 5 credit cards of 2024, so to see what my picks are, check out this video next.